Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio on this? Yes, thank you. I I think I've figured out how to switch back and forth from my headset to my speakers, so hopefully this will work. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it is time for the noon edition of Welcome to My World. This is Monday, the 12th day of June. So I can't believe we're almost halfway through June. So how's everybody doing this morning? Has everybody managed to capture a few ticks from your favorite markets? We've had some nice tradable moves this morning, and yeah, uh, good for you, Craig. Craig says he's had a great day and he's done early. So those are the nice parts about summertime trading. There tends to be, it seems to me, there tends to be a little more volume in the morning, and I think a lot of uh, the big money traders kind of have the same idea. It's summertime and they want to get done and get out the door. So sometimes mornings, early mornings are the only times during the summer that we really have anything that's decent to trade. But for the Nadex traders, that can also mean that you've got better opportunities for some of the strategies that work real well with Nadex. So anyway, we have had these indices. They did make a move this morning. YM had a really nice move, and I know I don't trade NQ, but some people do, and it's given you a nice move in both directions. So hopefully those worked out. Um, Somebody was asking about ES, and I don't know if you trade. Um, let's see, who was that? It was I think it was Todd was asking about ES. I don't know if you are going to trade the Nadex with that, or if you're going to trade the futures. But not too many of us here trade the ES futures, but certainly that's the chart you use for the Nadex contract. Anyway, bonds hovered around this morning and just it was that bus driver was clinging to settlement for a long, long time, but finally took off, and bonds did have a nice move. Tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock will be the 30-year long bond auction. So tomorrow morning on ZB might be just a little slow. Usually on auction day, which comes once a month, um, it traders seem to just kind of be waiting around to see what's going to happen at the auction. So anyway, I think crude oil this morning. Crude oil, I don't like this kind of thing. But somebody I know on Friday was wondering if there was an easy way to learn to see chop. And what I can tell you that might help, I have it on my OP chart. If you see these little black dots down here, you can put that on your main chart. And what it does is it puts the swing high and swing low right on your chart. And then you can use those to draw a little box. Use the drawing tool over here. I'll show you where that indicator is. It's a generic one, and it's down here way after the the apex indicators. And all it says, the label of it, all it says is swing. So you go all the way down here. That looks kind of obscure, but if you add that to your chart, you will get those automatically put on your those little dots, and you can change the colors, and it'll make it a lot more obvious until you can see without it. Some people just leave them on there. I think Lori has those on her C's templates. But anyway, it it really will help you to see what we're talking about with when people talk about breakouts or chop boxes or and when it chops, the only thing you know is that eventually it's going to break out of there. Um, what I like to do when it's been doing that for a while is there's another indicator on here, and I'll show you where that is. It's an apex one, and it says apex price alert. This one right here, apex diagnostic price alert. And if you put two of those on there, you'll see you have to change the price because obviously crude oil is not going to trade at 1.062. So put it to something that you can see on your chart because you drag them. They're easily dragged. You just lock onto them and drag them, and you can put one at the top of the chop box and one at the bottom of the chop box, and you will get a doorbell when the market breaks out one way or the other, which kind of will catch your attention. So sometimes I put those a couple of 3 ticks inside the box so I have time enough to turn around and evaluate it and see if it looks like it's gonna really get through there. Let's see. Gold had a bit of a move earlier. Again, about I don't know between say 10ish on. It's been a little more difficult. You could, if you were a scalper, that might work real well for you. So I noticed the VIX, at least it's not down at 10. It's almost up to 12. It's trading 11.95 right now. And with that big sell-off, there was a pretty good sell-off overnight on the indices. I thought it might be a little higher today, but it's not. And let's see, everybody, I also wanted to let you know, everybody should be on the September contract for your charts for all of the indices. So NQ, YM, ES, TF, you need to have those on the September contract. If you're not there, take care of that sooner rather than later. We only have to roll those 4 times a year, but they are all the active is now on September. Crude oil is on July. August is on, gold is on August. So eventually these will all get, looks like crude oil might be breaking out right here to the south side. And one of the things that I thought about that just a couple seconds ago, this 30-minute right here was really getting ready to go to the downside. So everything is kind of telling us downside. Anyway, for the rest of this week, we've got a little more news than we have had. Don't forget Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be FOMAC, so 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock will be the Fed funds rate, and if they adjust it, they adjust it, and if they don't, they don't. But that news can really move the markets. And then the other thing we have coming up, if you trade the indices, is on Friday. I'm sorry, the currencies. If you trade the currencies on Friday, those currency futures contracts will roll. And so for those of you who trade the spot pairs, and you are using the apex indicators on by Friday, you're going to need to have those uh, all of the 6A and 6B and 6C and all that stuff. That's going to be need. You're going to have to roll that to September. So I think it would be okay if you wait until the weekend, but don't forget to do that. So I think that's about it. Brent gapped up at the open this morning, and it looks like it's going back down to fill that gap. So keep in mind what Daryl says about these markets that go up. Crude oil is it's kind of in that position right now. They tend to go back down to settlement. And if you look at the histogram on crude oil, this is the ICE histogram. Look at where settlement just happens to be, where all the volume was on Friday. So the bus drivers know where they got the passengers for their buses. They were doing a lot of business right at that level, that 45.80 to 85ish, right in there. So anyway, I think that's about it. I would be paying pretty close attention to what's going on politically too this week, because with FOMAC and with all this, rigmarole the government's trying to do, and they're talking about getting this tax reform, I guess that's what they call it, is a tax reform bill, that they might start making some of that a little more public this week too. And if that happens, it can get some of these underlying stocks into a mode where they're going to make some changes anyway. If, in other words, if the news is really good, some of these big stocks that are underlying these indices, they can become pretty euphoric. So just stay alert and be aware.